or maybe not so quickly, but we're going to take a look at just the whole process of completing a drawing. We're going to open up a new file in this video. We're going to set up some classes. We're going to get it ready to draw. We're going to use some tools to draw an object in a couple of views in 2 dimensions, and then we're going to export it just to refresh how we go through from start to finish a drawing. So our first step will be opening Vectorworks, which we've done here, and clicking New to start the new drawing. I'm going to use blank metric as the document template because I know that's going to open me up in a metric drawing as opposed to an imperial one. And here we are in our drawing. The first thing I'm going to do is change some of my attributes, which come down to the attribute panel. I'm going to change solid to class style, color to color by class, pen to class style, and my line thickness to class thickness. Those are the 4 things that I'll set up next in my classes. So by doing this first, just allows anything we do from now on to be affected by the classes we choose. You'll see down here in our navigation panel that we already have 2 classes in this drawing, dimension and none. We're going to set up 2 more. So we're going to navigate ourselves over to our organization palette or pop-up by clicking the classes button. Remembering you can do this with the layers button as well. So we're going to click classes. I'm going to click new. I'm going to call this first one drawing. And I'm going to have edit properties after creation ticked. I'm going to click OK. I'm going to change a couple of these settings here. I'm going to change solid to none. That'll remove the color, and pen style can stay at solid, but we might make it a touch thicker at 0.18. Clicking OK to exit out of that, and one more. We're going to set it one more. New again, hidden line. Click OK. Again, fill style to none. We're going to change the thickness to 0.13, and we're going to change the pen style from solid to line type, and just a dash style 1 for this. Click OK. And for now, we're going to make the active one, active class drawing. Clicking OK again. Now I'm going to go back there just in a different way by clicking the layers button and change my scale on my design layer to 1:1. You can also change the name of this while we're here. I'm going to call this table so that if I choose to use this drawing for anything else, say drawing another object, I can have a different design layer for that object. Okay, okay. Zoom out. We are now ready to start drawing a table. So when I draw, the first thing I like to start with is my plan of my item. So I'm just going to start with my rectangle tool in my corner to corner mode, clicking somewhere on the page. And I'm going to make this a 1 meter by 1 meter table. So I'm going to go tab. And remember, if you tab too many times, you can just keep tabbing to go back. 1000, tab 1000. Enter, and that is going to draw me a 1 meter by 1 meter box. The next thing I'm going to draw is the leg. I'm just going to make that an 80 by 80 leg, enter, but I actually want it to sit inside a little, but I started there, and remember we used the move by points tool to move accurately, so I'm just going to move that across 80 by 80, or just moving it diagonally. So that's our first leg. I'm then going to go ahead with that leg still selected, and I'm just going to put 4 of them in, and I do that by mirroring. So going to the mirror tool, which is here, and choosing the center to the center of the table, and then I'm just going to do the same thing and mirror across again, and that has given me 4 legs to the table. Genius, we're smashing it. Then I'm going to draw just some frame to the underside of the table, and I'm going to use the information on the page to give me that. So I'm going to click there first, bottom right of that leg to there, and that tells me that that distance is 680, which is what we want it to be. We want it to be accurate. So we're going to tab past 680 and type in 20, for example, if that's what our frame is going to be. And this time I'm going to use the move by points tool to copy it up. So I'm going to change to move and duplicate, keeping the object retention mode on, but I've clearly been doing something else in here. I'm going to change my number of duplicates to 1. And then I'm just going to click on the point I know I can take it to. So here, the bottom is in line with the edge of the leg. So up here, I'm going to want the top in line with the edge of the leg. So I'm going to select the top. I'm going to go up, and that's going to go there. The next thing I'm going to do is select that, and the mirror tool not only works at right angles to itself, you can also use the mirror tool at 45 degrees. So I know this is a square table, so I'm going to mirror diagonally across, and that has given me the basics of my plan. From here, we've got a lot of information to keep drawing on. So we can draw straight up. I'm going to draw a line here. Draw a line that's approximately 1.5 meters. I'm going to make it exactly 1.5 meters above this. And then I'm going to copy 4 things. I'm going to copy the table top and the 2 top legs and the top frame. And what I'm going to do there is use my object copy mode and just pull it straight up to there. This gives me all the information I need to set up my front elevation. So we know the table top is not that tall, or not that big now because we're looking at the sides, but it's going to remain being 1000 millimeters. The first thing I'm going to do is make it 20 instead of 1000, and that's going to edit itself using this as the anchor point. Using any of these top 3 anchor points on the 9 dots will keep that top line here, or those top 3 dots, as the points that don't move. So if I click enter, it's going to do that. It's going to straight away edit ourselves down to just being the thickness of the table. I'm then going to go and select these and just move them straight up using my Move by Points tool without duplicating them, straight into the object at a vertical angle, just because we now know that they sit right there. I want this table to be 750 millimeters tall. So I've already got 20 millimeters here, and I have 80 millimeters here in the width and height. I'm going to edit both legs at once. So I'm just going to select them both here because they have the same properties. So we want it to be 750. We know we already have 20 millimeters, so we're going to do some maths here. And we are going to work out what the difference is. But I'm going to do that in a number of steps just because I can't work that out in my head quite quickly. And I'm going to go plus. I'm going to go 750 tall. Great. And then I'm just going to go minus 20. And that is going to give me a table that is where the legs are 730 and the top is 20, total height of 750 millimeters. I can now delete this line. That was just a reference line. This frame looks a little small, so I'm just going to go ahead and make that 80 millimeters tall. The good thing about this table is the side elevation is the same as the front elevation, but we should still include it in case there's any other detail we're missing. But I'm just going to draw another line 1000 across, and then I'm just going to select the whole table and mirror it across. We have now drawn our plan, front and side elevations of our table. So now we can go ahead and put it on a piece of paper and put some dimensions on it. So I'm going to set myself up a piece of paper. I'm going to go to the layers button, go to sheet layers, go new. This will be sheet 1. And I'm just going to go table, call it table. And with edit properties after creation tick, to click OK. It's quite a small object, so our page setup can probably be A3, but we'll see how we go. But remember, we go edit sheet layers, edit page setup to choose a paper size, click OK, click OK. And remember, this is when we click OK here, it's going to take us to our piece of paper, which will mean we're no longer looking at our table, but not to be scared. Click OK. Zoom out. Where's our piece of paper? It's over here. Zoom to the object. Going to come over to tool sets, and the first thing I'm going to do is put a title block border on the page. Clicking OK. And unstyled, I'm going to have to choose something here, so I'm going to go unstyled. I'm going to go to the spotlight title blocks. This is quite a small object, so I think we can just do a small title block. Click OK, and that will pop up there. So we are ready to put our piece of paper on the page. I'm going to navigate back to my drawing, back to my design layer, by using this drop-down box here and going table. Can't see it, I'm just going to click zoom to objects here. But there's one step we've missed. all these items in this tabletop only on the plan view should be on our hidden layer. So I'm going to select them all. I'm just holding Shift and selecting them all this time, and quite quickly change my class style to hidden line over here, just by coming over to the Object Info palette, and where it says Class Drawing, go in Class, Hidden Line. It shouldn't change too much there. You can zoom in a bit and see that it's hidden here, but when we put it on our piece of paper, we'll see it in good detail. The next thing to do is draw a viewport over the top, or a rectangle, which will be our viewport. I know I want to encase all of this thing, so I'm just going to go ahead and draw a rectangle right over it. With that rectangle selected, go View, Create Viewport, and this is where we set our information. I want my scale to be 1 to 10. It's a smallish object, it's not a full plan. We've got a bit of detail to put on it, so we choose a slightly larger scale. Check my classes are all turned on, yep, and check my layers are all turned on. And for this drawing, I don't want the drawing title, so I'm just going to turn that off, but I do want to put it on this sheet layer here, and I do want it to be in a top plan view. Click OK. It's going to take us straight across. And look at that, it almost looks perfect. It looks like it fits nicely on the piece of paper. We could have a little bit more space around the edges and a little bit less in the middle. So what I might just do is come back to my design layer and just go ahead and move this up 300 millimeters, just because that looks like a good amount. And I'm just going to move this up over 300 millimeters just to make it a little tighter on the piece of paper. Give us some more room for dimensions. Going back via this drop down box next to my layers button, back to my sheet layer, checking that looks good, but just moving it so it's a bit more center on the page, a bit more space around it. Ooh. Again, trying to use the Move by Points tool to be accurate here. So this is looking good. We just have to add some dimensions. Double clicking in and on the viewport to get to annotations, clicking OK. Now I want to give the builder of this table quite a lot of information. I want it to be pretty precise. So I'm going to start with my overall width, and I'm going to click, and move out. The next, oh, hold on, that's the wrong tool. We're going to just start with the single dimension tool. Click 1, click 2, pull across, drag across, click, and then I'm going to move to my chain dimension tool, constrain chain mode. This is going to allow me to put in lots of dimensions at once. So first click is the width before the leg, clicking once, and then just as I work across, it's going to give me all that information there, and clicking again at the end to end the chain on the last point. But I don't want these lines to be inside, so I can take that opportunity now to move them across. So clicking once on the blue dot and clicking once where I want it to be will just allow me the chance to move these out and this to look quite neat. You could assume that was the same on the other side, but we should just do that quickly by putting some dimensions on the other side. Going there. And then again, changing to my chain mode to quite efficiently, hopefully, and accurately dimension a drawing. Clicking again at the last point to edit that, and then moving to my cursor or selection tool just to move them back out. So that says to me that is good to go. I'm going to add some more dimensions on the other things here. Going to again dimension the height. Oh, it's chain mode again. Remember to just keep selecting back to the tool you want it to be. And here's a little hint. With some of your snapping and line tools, you can click between them, and sometimes they'll intersect where you get two dotted lines like that. That means it's the same point, and that will stop you from having to move that out later. Then I'm going to move to my chain mode, and I'm going to go there to the thickness, and then that height, and then that height there. Clicking again at the end. And then again, just moving some of these out, so it's just a little bit neater. on the drawing. We know the other information from below, but just to confirm it, I'm just going to put an overall there. Put an overall dimension there. And what I'm going to go over here and do is just put an overall dimension again, but I'm just going to do another chain dimension on this side, but I'm just going to give slightly different information this time, just to make sure my drawing is really clear, because that is the wrong dimension right there. So just make sure you're aware as you go what the dimensions should be. So the other chain dimension I'm going to give is just without that little frame section, just so we know what so if the builder doesn't have to do the maths to work out the height of the leg. This is looking good. It's only missing one thing, which is some text to say what they are. I'm just going to write down here, capitals, plan. And I like to put a little underline under it, which you can do over here in the object info palette there. That's the plan. I'm going to copy this, copy Control V, move by points. Making sure that the labels tend to run in line with each other is good. Front elevation. Copy that again, and I know where I want it to be because I want it to be in the same proportion to that leg, so we're just going to do it like that. And then side elevation. Zoom out a bit, make sure it all looks right. Remember, you can come back and get in here later. We may as well just put one more dimension in that we can just confirm that their legs are 90 degrees. Sometimes you get some tables with some splayed angles, so we'll just put a little 90-degree marker in there, just to confirm that. It doesn't hurt to have too much information sometimes, as long as the plan is still legible. And I'm going to go and exit viewport annotation. This is looking really good, really professional. The last thing I have to do is edit our viewport. So I'm just going to hover over the the title block, hover over that, double click, edit the settings. This will pop up. I like to click zoom in on title block so I know what I'm trying to edit here. Title block, project data, project name, table, sheet data, sheet title table. Now that we've put something on, if I click update scale, that should automatically update, but there is no scale field there, which there should be. So maybe I've chosen the wrong title block altogether, which is frustrating, but we'll put some other things in while we're here. Date, status, drawn by J. Batista. Reference. If you don't have it, I'm going to type the scale here myself. Scale 1 to 10. Remember to always put the paper size at A3 so they know that it fits once it's done. CAD file name, will automatically update based on the name of the file. Click OK. That's updated there. Zoom out to one more check. This is ready to send off to the builder. They can't open Vectorworks drawing, so we're going to have to give them a different type of drawing. We're going to go make them a PDF, file, export, export PDF. This all looks good generally. Export, put it on the desktop, table, drawing 1 to 10, A3, and today's date, 25th of the 4th. Click save. That'll pop up. It looks great. Look how good that looks. And there we are, we're done. That is how to go from start to finish of quite a small little item, but just a good process to get yourself familiar with for opening, making and exporting a drawing. Thanks for tuning in.